Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the webinar to understand, can you really outsmart aging? And thank you so much for joining all the panelists over here because it's a question many of us are asking today. And to explore it, we have an amazing panel with us. Joining us, we have Darshit Patel, CSO and co-founder of Decode Age, Dr. Varun Chandramani, orthopedic surgeon, Anu Tripathi, certified lifestyle coach and influencer, and Ganesh Kurwa, health coach. Thank you, everybody, for agreeing to do this. We are really excited to start the conversation.
Yes, we second your enthusiasm. Bhumi.
Okay, so let's start with the conversation. So, for the first question, is like, I think it needs to be as basic as possible. So, aging is often seen as something that simplify what happens to us, but from everything we know today, how much of aging process is actually within our control, and where do you each see the biggest opportunity to make a difference? I will start with Darshit on this.
Thank you so much. So, how much of aging is in our control? And I'll try to give the scientific side of things because that's actually what
Yes.
I'm good at, and that's what I do all the day. But how much of aging is really in our own control? And when we say that question in that way, we often mean that there are some things that we cannot control as of yet through the modern science and interventions that we have created, and a few things that we can definitely start changing. I don't have a percentage to it, but you will see a lot of people talking about, oh, 20% driven by genetics and 80% not. I don't think so that number holds across a lot of populations per se. But I would say that yes, there are definitely genetic cards being dealt to you that you cannot do much about. But that said, a lot of it still remains in our control. And that has to do everything with the environment and the epigenetics of it. So genetics and how the genes would be driven are mainly based on your own habits. You would see a lot of families where obesity might be a trend, but there would always be an outlier in one family who doesn't go through the same symptoms as previous generations have gone through. And that is not because their genes suddenly got better. It is because they started making better lifestyle choices, right? So that is what defines how you're going to age and what is in your control. So say right from your movement to your nutrition to the kind of choices that you make, be it in terms of sleeping every day or partying overnight, are the choices that are constantly influencing how well you are maintaining and managing your biology. So we should stick to things that are in our control. And if we just manage to do that good enough, you will still see a lot of examples of people at the age of 40, 50, 60, 70 behaving like they are 20, 25, 30. So that would be a crux of my answer, that almost every choice that you take right from the moment you wake up to the moment you sleep is influencing your biology in one way or the other. So the better choices you make every day, they will compound into a better biology as well. And it will try to keep whatever bad your genetics have dealt to you as far as possible for as long as possible.
Thank you so much, Darshit. Anu, do you have your point of view on this?
Absolutely. I mean, I totally resonate with Harshit and Darshit actually. Sorry. Um, they we cannot quantify things. There are so many things that you can do. Like I know my entire family and how the genetics run, and probably I am the one who might be changing some certain things in my whole generation, my whole legacy, by eating right, by making sure that I'm taking my supplements as I need, by strength training, by making sure that I'm recovering. So I know my genetics might not be as strong as I would have loved it to be, but what is in my hand is driving things for me. I am 38 right now, and I don't feel 38. I don't look 38, and I work out probably better than than an 18-year-old. So it's so much. There's so much in your control, and how you want to drive your life by making lifestyle choices is so important than lot other things.
Varun, I would thank you so much, Anu, first of all. Varun, I would like to understand your perspective on this, considering you're an orthopedic surgeon and how much bone health and everything comes around when it comes to aging.
Yeah. So when you think about aging and longevity, it's not just increasing your lifespan, it's increasing your health span. You want to increase your quality of life. You want to be more independent. You want to keep doing the things you can do when you're younger. So for in that role, your muscles and your bone play a very major role. So your muscular skeletal system dictates a lot of your longevity to keep you more active and more independent at a elder age. That is basically what longevity is. You want to increase your quality of your life. You want to be able to move around, sit up, be independent, go for when you're 70, 75, go for hikes, go for trekking. So for that, your muscles and your bone play a major role, and the earlier we understand that and take control and advantage of knowing all these things at an earlier age will be much more advantageous to us. It'll give us a head start to everybody. So a
Uh,
major role is your muscles and bones.
Absolutely. Ganesh, your take on this?
Yeah, I think Darshit, Varun, and Anu have covered the most of the things. I will just add two cents from my end actually on this. It's a very great question actually. So I always talk to my clients about biological age versus calendar age,
Mm.
right? We have two ages, calendar age and biological age. And
Mm-hmm.
biological age is more to do with how you are physically existing as a person actually, than when you are born. Yeah. Like for example, myself, I am 52 today. My body age, if I measure using a body composition equipment, I'm 38 actually, right? And all I have done there is whatever I could do in the last 15, 20 years by taking care of my health by every health choice, be it fitness, be it nutrition, be it preventive healthcare measures. Yeah. And I think all of us have that power in us to do it, I think, because epigenetics is all about that, right? It's about we are
Yeah.
born with some genetics, but how much we can do from lifestyle so we can change the expression of our genes. Yeah, in
Mm-hmm.
leading a younger and healthier life. Yeah, I would say that.
Thank you so much. I think this at least we understand everybody stand on this question, which is the basic how can we control aging, and now we can move forward with everybody's domain, if I may say. So I will start with Darshit, since we have already spoken about chronological age, biological age. We all know our chronological age, but can we actually measure our biological age, and more importantly, can we influence it?
I mean, the more complex question out of the two is measuring the biological age.
Yeah.
Influencing has no more been a question, to be very honest. If you're meeting a person of the same age and you see that there is a drastic difference in how you feel, they feel, if you both are 40 years old and one is able to run a marathon, the other one cannot take a few steps, that means that
Hmm.
someone has knowingly, unknowingly, consciously, unconsciously influenced their biological age for sure. About the
Yeah.
measuring bit itself, now that's a bit of a tricky part in itself, right? And this considering coming from an experience of working on biological age clocks firsthand on the scientific side of things. Biological age, I think, when it comes to measurement, is a gross simplification of a lot of complicated science that goes behind it, right? For example, in scientific language, we don't say biological age. We say epigenetic age. We say transcriptomic age. We say blood age. We say microbiome age. Now, each one of them are different factors which is making up the whole systemic body. And each one of them behave very separately, right? And a great scientist once told me that you don't die because you're aging, you die because at least one of the organs have failed. So it's not about the biological age. It's about are different parts of your body taken care of very well. And say, for example, I could be a marathon runner. I could have a great endurance capacity, a great VO2 max. But at the same time, if I'm not taking care of my digestive system, or if I'm not taking care of my microbiome, the right metabolites won't be secreted in your body. Someone could be doing great strength training, great marathon, amazing diet, but their immune system is continuously active, maybe because of an environmental trigger like a mold in their home or something like that. So that affects
Yeah.
a different system altogether. So I think this overall obsession about measuring a biological age might be might not be coming from the same scientific premise that we look at it from. To
Hmm.
me, still the greatest example of measuring a biological age is when you do an intervention on yourself. It could be anything. You could be taking a sauna, you could be taking a supplement, or you could be increasing the weight when you're doing a overhead squat, right? If it makes you feel better that day and going forward, well, you have influenced your biological age, and maybe you don't even need to measure a biological age, right? So the clinical value of measuring biological age is yet to be determined, right? That said, we see a lot of leaderboards globally, people talking about biological age. I wouldn't put that under non-scientific at all. It's just that it is very well calibrated for the population that was studied upon. And we Indians are by far not a part of that cohort. So a lot of that extrapolation might not work for us. And I could be feeling extremely healthy and great. And if my biological age shows that I'm older than my biology, that is probably a
Hmm.
statistical error than a biological error. So I think I have come to terms with this, but that doesn't mean I'd be pessimistic going forward. We need more Indian data where we can calibrate more tools so we can give the patients of India and the clients of India something that they could really rely on.
Thank you so much, Darshit. Moving on, since you have already spoken about, that aging is not just about your age, it's also about particular organs. I want to address this, that considering Varun is here, we often hear my knees hurts, so I stopped exercising. Is rest always the answer, or can movement actually be part of protecting our joints and joint health when it comes to aging?
So the first thing we want to know is diagnose your condition, because there are
Yeah.
certain pathologies where movement might not always be the answer and we might cause more damage. For example, if you have an injury to a ligament or you have a fracture to a bone, I can't tell you ki no exercise move, because that structure, anatomical structure like a ligament which is torn, with movement of that joint might get more torn, or the fracture which was initially a non-displaced fracture due to movement of that condition could have become a displaced fracture and you'll end up with a bigger problem. So the first thing is to diagnose your condition. Now, saying that, there are certain pathologies which do get better on movement, on exercise and rehab, but we
Yeah.
have to identify these things. So first we have to find out if it is a degenerative condition. Like
Hmm.
we have lots of older people, 45, 50 years old, who have arthritis of the joints. That basically means their cartilage, due to continuous wear and tear, is eroded, and they have their knee, the bones of their joints are rubbing against each other. So for these people, of course, movement, strengthening the muscles around the joint will help relieving the pain. But of course, we have to understand and diagnose the condition. That's where a job of an orthopedic surgeon comes first, because they can give you a plan according to your
Yeah.
injury you have, or according to your condition of your knee or whatever joint it is. So diagnosing is key, and definitely there are multiple pathologies or injuries where movement is the correct answer. For example, if you have an ankle sprain, we have different grades of an ankle sprain. Okay, you
Hmm.
have a grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. In a grade 1 ankle sprain, we can start mobilizing the joint, and so the patient can get the range of motion faster. However, in a grade 3 strain, where the ankle ligaments are completely ruptured, you can't tell that patient to move the joint, right? So
Yeah.
it depends on the condition. We have to diagnose it, get it checked, do an X-ray, maybe an MRI, and depending on that, we have to select a particular rehab plan for the patient, whether rest is needed or whether you can go ahead with a more aggressive approach and start exercises and all.
So Varun, what are the three things that somebody must do for a better, healthy aging when it comes to joint health and bone health?
So, of course, the first most important thing, without doubt, is resistance training. So, when I say resistance training, it can be going to the gym, lifting weights, using TheraBands, doing body weight exercises, calisthenics, uh, Pilates to a certain extent is a form of resistance training because you are putting those bones under load. Whenever we do any of these exercises with weights, strength training, resistance training, we are loading our bones, which is stimulating our bones to we have some certain cells in our bones called osteoblasts. So when we
Yeah.
do exercise and we stimulate movement and load our bones, these stimulate our bone to throw out more bone, which make our bones more dense, which make our bones stronger. At the same time, whenever we are doing resistance training, we are increasing the size and strength of all our muscles. We are making our muscles stronger so they can take more load. These are just the strength benefits and the bone health. But along with this, the more muscle mass we have, the more metabolic health we are getting because our muscles, the more muscle mass we have, the more glucose they can absorb, which makes us more resistant to insulin. So
Okay.
definitely strength training has a lot of benefits.
Yeah.
For your heart health, you do want to do cardiovascular training. So no, I would say not only doing strength training is good, but along with that, if you can add any form of cardiovascular training, a sport, if you're playing a sport, then fantastic because then of course it's more enjoyment also at the same
Hmm.
time. You're enjoying it. So it's not as boring as walking on a treadmill. And of course, nutrition, where we have to get a balanced diet of proteins, carbs, fibers, micronutrients, and making sure that we rest well so we can recover from all of these things. But of course, I would say resist for me as an orthopedic surgeon, doing resistance training from an early age can save you from thousands of muscles and skeletal disorders. Arthritis, it can prolong your arthritis, it can make sure that you have a more independent lifestyle till 75, 80. So definitely.
Thank you so much, Varun, for such
Yeah.
a detailed explanation on this question. Moving on to Anu. Anu, you are talking to a huge mass considering you're a health coach and you're a content creator. What do you think is the biggest mistake people make when they are trying to completely transform their health overnight? And especially, if you can tell us what is the condition of women when it comes to health in like the kind of feedback you're getting.
We can honestly have a whole webinar based on this topic. There are so many mistakes, honestly, and especially I would unfortunately would say our Indian community is making when it
Yeah.
comes to the lifestyle, when it comes to weight loss. There's so many myths, uh, generational myths that have been in our community. Unfortunately, there has been so many stigma around strength training, weight training, especially for women. uh, Ladies think that if they would work out using a half kg dumbbell, they will put on weight like or muscle like a man. They'll become muscular, so they do not want to do weight training. Like Varun suggested, how important it is to strength train, to resistant, to do resistance training. Unfortunately, there's a very, very like 0.001 percentage of women who are now incorporating that in their lifestyle. But this is a generational stigma. I know my parents call me a lot of times, like still they call me. I'm 38, by the way. My parents call me like today, I mean, all the time, tell me, Anu, don't do weight training. Do yoga. Do yoga. Go for walk. Don't do weight training. They say that to me. Me being a lifestyle coach. So just imagine any normal household wherein people do not have that much of information. Thankfully, with social, I mean, with Instagram and other. Apps. There is a lot of awareness that we are getting, but still there are a lot of misconceptions, overload of information, so people are not getting the right information. I know I'm an influencer too. I try to give the right information, but unfortunately, too much of information is also a problem.
Yeah.
So, what content are you consuming? That really matters. And also consuming a diverse information from like 1,000 people, that is again a problem. Anyhow, so misconception around weight training, strength training, and then on there is a lot of misconception around protein, and that especially for women. I hear a lot of times that I will only I will only give protein or non-veg. I'm a vegetarian now, but I'm just talking about the misconception here that I will start adding protein or rather meat or eggs in my daughter's diet after she has reached puberty.
Yeah.
Because that might lead to her attaining puberty sooner. You need to give a balanced diet from a very, from the initial days. Now this is such a huge misconception that a lot of Indian parents have, and I'm sure around the world. But I think there are so many misconceptions, but these two I wanted to highlight from this forum.
Absolutely. Also, since you're a woman, I want to take this question that I think
Yes.
the most leading disease amongst women nowadays that we hear is PCOS and PCOD. So, what are your when we discuss online, there are so much of misinformation about that as well. What is one of the things women with PCOS should understand beyond just focusing on weight loss or fertility?
Okay. Now, great question. I would say at present, probably every third woman might have PCOS or some form of PCOS or the
Yeah.
initial stage of PCOS or PCOD. Again, awareness is the key. If you're not aware, you will fall into trap, and you might not be able to help yourself. So, awareness is the key. Second, every woman, the symptoms that you have, I might have PCOD, you might have PCOD, and our symptoms could be drastically different. I might be thin like anything, and you might be gaining weight, and we both might have PCOD. Now, what ladies do at present when they start gaining weight, that's when they kind of start thinking, do I have PCOS, PCOD? Is it because of that? Most of us as a woman, we think that PCOS is only related to weight gain. And the symptoms could be so different from me to you to every different woman in the room. So one, regular checkups we cannot under. I could be working out, I could be eating healthy, I could be doing everything right, but there are so many factors, so many factors. If I'm doing everything, but probably, I'm stressed. And there are a lot of times when I do not, or people do not even realize there's a lot of trauma which they might have unresolved trauma. There's so many things which lead to these lifestyle issues, for instance, PCOD. So we need to make sure, as women, we have to make sure that we are getting regular checkups.
Yeah.
And we need to start respecting our body more than just weight, more than just looking great. So
Thanks a
that's my
lot,
take.
Anu. Yeah, thanks a lot. That was very much required, I think, to people to hear, all the women on the panel. Moving on, Ganesh, I think similarly, diabetes and hypertension are the increasingly affecting people at a very younger age in today's time and era. What are some of the biggest lifestyle red flags people tend to ignore in your experience?
Yeah, it's a great question, Bhumika. So lately, if you see in the last 20 years, 20 plus years, we do have this trend of people developing chronic illnesses, especially diabetes and hypertension, right? All these diseases are coming very early in the age for people. So what is the root cause, right? If you delve around to that, there are many things that is causing this. Okay, but I will talk about a few major dimensions, pillars, I would say, that can be looked at, and people can easily be able to come out of it. Yeah. The first thing is, I would say, people are actually eating either more calories or refined and ultra processed calories. So when I say that, what happens is, let's say you eat refined or ultra processed food, right? What happens is your insulin spikes. So if you spike once or twice, it's okay. But if you spike it regularly, constantly, days, weeks, months, you automatically develop insulin resistance. Yeah, it becomes weaker, and that's when you become diabetic. Actually, that's where we recommend, as a health coach, we recommend people eating, more of protein-based food, fibers, so that digestion goes slower and the glucose release happens slower, so your insulin doesn't spike too much. And that's one of the major reason. If you look at people around these days, you go in the midnight, okay, you go in the midnight hour, there are a bunch of youngsters, standing at coffee tea shops, drinking multiple coffee teas and eating biryanis in the night. Okay, I wouldn't say these are bad actually as a generic judgmental way, but I would say if you do it like once a month, once in 2 months, it's okay probably. But if it becomes lifestyle, especially when you are a sedentary lifestyle, okay, you don't do exercise properly, you don't need an active lifestyle, that's when this can cause huge problem in the early age. Okay, first thing is, either eating more calories or eating easy calories. Okay, first thing. Second thing is I'm seeing is sleep. Sleep is becoming a major problem in the world today. Not just for youngsters, even for everyone. Like with the mobiles, OTTs, channels, content. We never rest our mind actually. Even when I sleep 8 hours, when I wake up, I still feel tired because my mind is so stimulated actually. Okay, so poor is one. Sleep is one thing. Is going really bad. But how it is going bad is very important to understand actually, because when it comes to health, as a health coach, what I tell people is work on two things. Okay, one is sleep, one is stress. Without fixing these two, whatever else you would do, exercise, nutrition, supplements, whatever you do, you may not achieve your optimal health actually. Okay, so sleep, what it does at the root is, if you don't sleep properly, either time wise or quality wise, your hormones don't function as expected. Okay, your hormones go for a toss, first thing, and once your hormones goes for a toss, your metabolic health goes for a toss. And that's when metabolic health goes for a toss, that's when you start becoming ill actually. Okay, that's when becoming ill. So sleep and stress are two things. And then first one I told about eating processed food.
Yeah.
The other thing is the fourth thing I mentioned is it's more of like, nowadays people are like worried about body weight so much. Okay, I would want everyone to go one step ahead and think of your body composition versus body weight. Okay, so having lean body is not good enough, but having better muscle mass and lower body fat is the answer to good metabolic health actually. Yeah. And that's also is a major critical. I just these four things. Yeah, there are many more things actually, but I will stop there. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ganesh. Darshit, my question is, you have heard the entire panel, which is Ganesh talking about diabetes, hypertension, Anu talking about women health, PCOS, PCOD, Varun talking about joint health, bone health. What is your take on it? And what is this one, like, 3, 4 things that you want to speak, which is science backed when it comes to overall health in these spectrum?
I mean, it's absolutely, there is no disagreement to whatever the panel has said so far. And I think it all points to the same thing that I started this question with initially, that being that aging is never going to be about one body part or here or there. It's about how we systematically bring all these things together. Of course, I
Yeah.
mean, the mucoskeletal and the bone health is what is going to maintain the structure. What Dr. Ganesh said is going to help you maintain the metabolic side of things. And I think what Anu said was more on the how women have different biology and how we have to take into the account when we are talking about women's health as well. So I think right from mind to toe, everything is going to be important. And for a bit, I think I'll go away from the scientific side and try to cover the rest of the things, which is what I feel is very important and is something that I've learned my parents doing,
Mm.
is having a certain kind of excitement, mental engagement, and socialization that helps you keep going, right? Emotionally, psychologically, on those manners. And I think while we take care of the body, we might be say we work on our neuroplasticity by brushing with our left hand instead of right hand. We could be going to the gym, training for our muscles and body. We eat better. We try to give better metabolic signaling to the body through the environmental triggers. But most of the time, old age is less about better health and more about loneliness. And we have seen that people in extreme ages, when they don't have the friends or the family from their age group around, they kind of feel isolated, right? And
Yeah.
I think lots of new measures and lots of new communities are coming up to help them keep engaged, right? And even like compulsory retirement from government offices and all are rendering people, are taking away the excitement of doing a mental activity at a very early age of 50, 55, or 60, whereas the average lifespan is going up to 70, 72 years old. So that last 10, 12 years of engagement is again something that is extremely important. Because there are more edge cases where people who have turned 110 years old have been smoking and drinking, but the only
Mm.
thing that have kept them waking up every morning is because they were just extremely obsessed about what they have to do as work or the mental activity. So I think those things become vital as well, and oftentimes these are not discussed in health forums. And I would be the worst person coming along this with because I'm the most unsocial one. But I think that is going to be an extremely important aspect if we all start living above the age of 70, 80 in a healthy manner. The only thing that might keep us away from enjoying life would be the aspects in and around that.
Thank you so much, Darshit. Moving on, we'll quickly have a rapid fire round of questions, and I would request everybody, whoever wants to answer the question, they can go ahead and answer the question until unless I ask specifically one question to a specific person. Yeah. So the rapid fire round goes, what will age you faster? Stress, sleep, or sitting all day?
Stress.
Stress.
Any day, stress.
Bad sleep.
Bad sleep also.
Yeah,
Darshit?
yeah.
I'm finding it extremely difficult to choose between, for all the Marvel fans here, Thanos
Yeah.
and Dormammu,
I
because
mean,
all of
all of
them,
them are as Darshit said, all of them are equally bad. But I
yeah.
feel if you had to
Yeah,
choose one, it would be stress.
yeah,
But I would agree with stress being an answer because I think the day I'm stressed, I automatically cannot sleep better.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's
And the
Yeah,
day I do not sleep better, I automatically have issues with all the other
yeah.
things.
yeah.
So
Stress is
maybe,
like
yeah,
it just yeah.
Thank you so
right.
much. Next question. You can only keep one forever, which is coffee, alcohol, or sugar. Which one would you choose to survive?
That's an
Coffee.
easier
Without any doubt.
choice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
coffee,
that's an
please.
easier choice.
Coffee. Yeah,
Which
coffee.
is coffee?
Coffee.
Coffee.
It's, I can tell you
100%.
it's definitely not alcohol and sugar.
In fact, I can live without all the three, but coffee is fine actually.
But coffee in the AM, in the morning, preferably in the morning, because you don't want it
Yeah.
disturbing your sleep. You don't want it affecting your circadian rhythm. So, of definitely before around afternoon, I wouldn't have it after 5 p.m. Never.
Right.
Okay. Next question. What is one thing people are doing today that their 70-year-old self will thank them for?
Strength training.
Yeah, I would say movements including strength training. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep
Strength
moving. Yeah,
training.
keep moving. Yeah.
Strength, the benefits you get with strength training, I don't think anything can come near that nowadays.
I think I'll say eating well. I think nothing much matters, at least to me, more than anything. It is eating well. You should be giving the right environmental clues to your body.
Correct. Okay. What is one thing that people think is normal aging, but actually shouldn't just be accepted? Like one thing that is normally accepted, that's part of aging, but it shouldn't be accepted.
Knee
All-
pain.
I think
Yeah, sorry,
always
go ahead.
being in some sort of pain. I mean, I see that there are a lot of old people who are always in chronic pain. That shouldn't be, and they take that, and the answer is, it's age. It's age. That I think that needs
Hmm.
to change.
That's a very, very good question. And I agree with Anu that pain is something you have to never ignore. Because whenever you're having pain in your body, it's basically your body is telling you, ki, boss, something is not right here, and you need
Mhm.
to get this checked on. Because that can eventually lead to a bigger issue. Like avoiding a mild knee pain can lead to full blown knee arthritis. So
Hmm.
listen to your body, and if you have pain, then you know find the professional or the concerned doctor regarding it, and make sure that listen to your body. I would say listen to your body is the best advice I can give.
I'll just
Yeah,
add one quick thing there.
Yeah.
Sorry to barge in. So many of my clients come to me with knee pain, especially now people are already running, who are already hiking. They say I've got knee pain and I'm not able to progress in my sport right now. I'm stuck actually, right? That's when I coach them in terms of how they do. They spend more time in resting, rejuvenating their body, eating right nutrition, training properly, strength training, and come out of that pain, and then be able to train in a structured way so they don't get the pain again. Yeah, the injury management, I would say, right? That's when you get better and better without being stuck in in your aging as you progress with your sport. Actually, yeah.
yeah. I think to me it is about uh, the symptoms that you get after you eat food. I think it has become extremely cool to go out on internet and say, hey, say I'm 35, I cannot eat bread because it's going to give me bloating. I think we're looking
Hmm.
at it from the wrong angle. If you are continuously facing digestive issues after having a meal or not, that means that something is going wrong in your body, and specifically related to immune system, because gut is not just an digestive organ. It is where maximum number of your immune cells live as well. So don't ignore your bloating, and don't ignore burping, and don't ignore flatulence for sure. I'm sure the people around you are not letting you ignore the flatulence problem, but still.
Yeah.
Okay. So finish this sentence, Darshit. The biggest scam in the wellness industry is dash.
Oh, something that irks
I-
me a lot is vibrations and energy, and talking about how vibrations affect your life and how you should take positive energies and keep negative energies away. None of that is doing anything to your body. It's not just scientifically incorrect, it's logically incorrect to a lot of extent.
Okay.
I would
Ganesh.
I would say quick pills for everything, every health issue.
Hmm.
The reason I say there is two things. Okay, people take medicines for their illnesses. People take supplements and other things to address their health issues. Okay, they're doing two things. But what I'm seeing as a trend in the market today is for every damn thing people looking at easy solution. I want this pill
Yeah.
quickly to solve my problem. That shouldn't be the case, because you have to work on your lifestyle habits as a core first, and then you should complement all these pills and supplements as a complementary solution, to the health problems.
Okay.
I would say that.
Anu.
I would say, misleading detox drinks. I do consume a lot of, detox drink, and I do recommend to, but detox drink can't alone do anything. Detox drink is nothing but an addition to everything else. So just one detox drink, just having cumin water in the morning will do literally nothing if you're eating junk, if you're not working on your lifestyle in a very holistic way. So detox drink, definitely.
Okay. Varun, your take on it?
For me, it's actually there are these machines. Basically, you put them on your body and they stimulate your muscles. And people are using this as a substitute for strength training. And I feel like that is absolutely you cannot. It's not even near the benefits you get from strength training. Those so that's total bullshit, I feel.
Okay. So tell us, what is the one health habit you personally struggle to follow despite knowing so much about health?
I think as a surgeon and as a doctor, it's sleep. I mean, especially as a orthopedic surgeon in our younger days, like when we were residents and all, then so there was no such thing as sleep. Also, especially in the Indian medical education system, where we have done worked for 48 hours, 72 hours, and now also sleep is something I feel I am still struggling with, and I think that would be the same answer for most of the people.
Yeah.
I would say hydration. I do many things well actually. After becoming a health coach, when I was in corporate job, I had a lot of struggle with many things. But today I have my time and I have freedom. I do many things well, but I still feel hydration is one thing that I miss a lot actually, because of schedule and work, things like that. But I see that pattern in clients as well. Many clients of mine actually struggle with hydration habits. They don't drink enough water in the day actually. Yeah, I see that's a biggest issue. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Ganesh. Anu?
Actually, I would go with Varun's answer. It's sleep. As far as food, hydration, everything, I feel like I have everything in control, and I like to lead a very disciplined life. But sleep is something. I don't know, from very as a child also, I never liked sleeping, and I always felt like sleep is waste of time. So yeah, I just sleep because I have to, and my body needs a rest. That's the reason I literally force myself to sleep. I had like 4 hours of sleep today because I had an early morning meeting, and then I had my entire day, and then this, and I still have a lot of stuff piled up. So yeah, sleep is something that I need to. I'm guilty about.
Yeah, and for me, I think it's long distance running, and I have a very stupid reason for that. It's because I don't understand the fact that I have to run for 1 hour and still be on the same place. So that that kind of bothers me and keeps me away from a lot of long distance running and endurance training. So I'm trying to get better at it, trying to beat my own mind to it. But yeah, that is what I have been lacking so far.
Darshit, we are having a run on 23rd. Hope to see you there in
I
Bangalore.
hope you all have fun on there.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll meet you at the end point.
Yeah, definitely.
You can talk to me,
Okay.
Darshit, if you need any help in running. I can help you run better.
No, it's the problem is not running better, dog. The problem is that I can't just seem to turn that I've been running for 1 hour on a treadmill or around a circle and I'm still at the same place. So it's the displacement is zero, the distance is 1 kilometer. That is the problem.
You need to
Got it.
run with Milan Soman. He travels like around the cities and across borders. I think that's something that would excite you, Darshit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but then I wouldn't be able to get you all the things that we do good at Decode Age then because I'd be busy running.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
true.
Last question. What is more dangerous, doing nothing for your health or constantly chasing every new health trend?
Doing nothing for your health.
Doing nothing for it. Yeah, I mean, that's quite an easy answer.
I
Yeah.
have a different view on this actually. I go on later actually. I would tell you why. Because if you don't do anything about your health, you are going to die soon, okay, with illnesses and health problems, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
at least if you follow a few things, what can happen is you will learn from it. You will learn what is working, what is not working for you, and you will discover yourself in the health journey actually. That's what my answer is. Yeah.
I know.
Somewhere in between is what I would say. I mean, I like the idea of discovery. I have tried a lot of things myself in my initial days. Now I don't. I know what would work for me, what won't. So discovery is something that you can play around in. I mean, when you're young. Probably I wouldn't suggest that when you are a certain age. But yes, falling for every trend, I think. That might cause problem, but yeah, you should always keep on exploring. That shouldn't stop. So somewhere in between is what my answer would be.
Yeah, and I think I in a lot of sense agree with that. To really
Hmm.
outsmart aging, you have to be smart about it. And
Hmm.
smart people do less things better, rather than more things in a worse way. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So right now we will keep the forum open for everybody who wants to ask questions to our panelists. We already have few questions, but I would request everybody, feel free to ask all of your questions. Meantime, if anybody has missed out anything, we have recorded this session and we'll be uploading in YouTube. So stay tuned with us so that you get the notification when we are putting the video on YouTube. Meanwhile, please share your questions. We will love to take all the questions. So, to begin with, I would love to understand. So, there is this one person who has asked this question. Uh, just a second. Okay. So, first of all, I want to understand that one one piece of advice on the internet that is there forever, but that piece of advice you want to ban. What would that be? Anybody can answer the question.
Ask that question again. And is this for everyone? I mean, all the participants too, or for us?
No, 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 just for you guys.
Okay. I'm sorry. Can you ask the question
Yeah,
again?
what piece of advice is there on the internet? Very like it has always been there, but you want to ban that piece of advice from internet.
I
I
mean, there's
can go
so
Well,
ahead
much
first.
advice on the internet which you want to ban.
I have one thing. I think natural is better is one of the advices that keep rolling around almost all the time on internet, and almost not every time natural is better. I think there's a
mhm.
fight between natural and chemically synthesized. I think that should be a more measured argument rather than how people have seen it so
Uh,
far.
I think for me, I would say that protein is bad for your kidneys. I mean, unless you have any pre-existing kidney disease, which is chronic renal failure or any renal disease, you don't have to worry about having protein. That's like a big scam. If you're resistance training, strength training like an athlete, you can have up to 2 grams per kg of body weight, and otherwise for a normal individual you need 1 gram per kg of body weight to maintain your muscular muscles, exactly. So that protein, your kidney gets damaged by protein is what I would say. It really frustrates me.
Okay. Rajiv has asked this question. What if I sleep well for 6 to 7 hours only, when my sleep cycle is regular? One question. Another question is shortcuts like people applying 80-20 rule in strength training too. If you have any advice on this, please share.
Uh,
Honestly speaking, if I can answer that question, probably others can chime in. Um, how, if you're sleeping for 6 to 7 hours, but what is the quality of the sleep? Quality matters. So I could be sleeping for 10 hours, but if I'm waking every half an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, there is a problem. But if you have that deep sleep, and when you wake up, you do not feel, I mean, you should be awake, like fully on for the day, fully alive. If you do not have that energy when you wake up, you are waking up every day feeling tired, feeling stressed, then that's a problem. Otherwise, 6 to 7, in my opinion, honestly, for me, it has worked. When the days when I'm sleeping 6 to 7 hours, I feel blessed. I will take, I mean, I'll take on anything. So
yeah.
that's for me.
Yeah, I completely agree with whatever Anu said. I think sleep is something which you can always work on. And if you see the science, if you see the literature, it says that you get maximum benefits from 7 to 8 hours. And as she said, undisturbed sleep is the most important. When we say undisturbed sleep, we are looking at your REM sleep. So getting enough of that REM sleep is very important. And coming to your second question, shortcuts like people applying 80 by 20 rule and strength training. I mean, I didn't understand this question exactly,
So
but
I think what Raji means is 80 time probably doing strength training, and then 20 times probably doing uh,
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 Cardio.
cardio is what
Yeah.
I
I
understand.
Um,
mean, yeah, I wouldn't agree with that completely, but I would definitely say that strength training has much more benefits than doing a cardiovascular program only. Doing cardio only will not give you all the benefits, but doing only strength training will definitely give you more benefits. So yeah, doing strength training and doing cardio, I think that's a good ratio, 80 by 20.
Yeah.
But a combination of both is what is really important.
Yeah, I like 80/20 rule. Personally, I think it's a great mixture.
Yeah,
80% of, if 80% is strength training and 20% is your
yeah,
cardio, I think you are doing a great job.
definitely. Strength
I will
training
just
has
add
way
one
more
thing there.
benefits.
I will just want one thing there. From what I have seen from my experiences, maybe like 2 to 3 days of strength training and 2 to 3 days of cardio can be a great mix to achieve longevity, good time for recovery for average adult. Okay, you can do
mhm.
strength training all 5 days in a week, but what that can probably do for people is not give enough time for recovery because of
Yeah.
already people
So
are
that I feel
suffering
that's
with
a very
sleep.
personalized question that will differ from individual to individual. It depends on how intense your training sessions are, or how long your training sessions are, how many years you've been training for, and on your goals. So
Exactly,
that would be
exactly,
a very
correct.
personalized thing, and
Yeah,
we
so
cannot give one answer for everyone.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
exactly. That's
agree.
what. Yeah, that's why I didn't
Oh,
agree with the number actually. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
thank you so much. Uh, all right. Darshit, this question I think is specifically for you. Bryan Johnson was recently diagnosed with autoimmune gastritis. Despite extreme biomarker tracking, does that expose a blind spot in longevity medicine around immune dysfunction? It's asked by Praj.
Yeah, I think it's a very fair question, and I as much as I don't agree with what Brian Johnson has done in terms of his education around longevity, I think the unnecessary flag that he got, that despite doing so much, oh, you still have a disease which you
Hmm.
couldn't recognize, is more of a wake-up call for the scientific community as well, because we think that we can track biology to the T, but to be very honest, we hardly understand even 5% of it, right? And
Hmm.
imagine someone tracking more than 200, 300 biomarkers for over 5 years. If those number of biomarkers couldn't catch an immune gastritis issue, that means that somewhere at the technology level also we have a lot of flaws, and
Yep.
it is uh, it is also a wake up call for individuals, right? that you could be tracking everything, but there could be something going wrong. So you should always be listening to your body's signs and not only depend on the next blood that you give and the next report that you give, right? If you see that the 30 markers in your blood panel are all right, that is not a complete view into how a human body functions. And it is actually good that Bryan Johnson came out and said that what people could miss out despite being so diligent about their health. And it also shows that why there is still place for experts in this world who would understand your body better than you can possibly do. And they would be able to guide you there. If he would have probably met a great gastroenterologist, he could have found this out a little bit more earlier and not purely focused on preventive health. So I think there's a lot of space for understanding symptoms and measuring the right thing based on the symptoms. So I would say it's not a blind spot in a way that we have ignored it. It's a blind spot in a way that we still need to develop technologies where we do not understand biology enough.
Thank you so much, Darshit. So we are already above the time for the webinar. However, I'll take one last question, which is asked by Nivedita on protein powder. So Nivedita is asking, is it better to avoid protein powder and get protein from natural food sources instead? Is that actually work?
I would say
I
mixture.
can
Yeah,
take this question. So if you
go
can
ahead,
meet your
Varun.
body's daily targets of protein without a supplement, then go for it. You do not need a protein powder. Saying that, it is very tough to get, at least, for a healthy male like me who is working out 5 6 times a week, to for me to get 160 180 grams of protein a day is not easy for me. So I do consume a protein powder, or a plant protein, or any protein supplement. But saying that, make sure your protein supplement, your brand which you're sourcing it from, check the label, read the ingredients, do your own research, do not listen to anybody. Make sure you're getting a good protein ratio in the protein supplement. And again, saying all of this, if you can get your daily protein target without a supplement, that is the best. But we have to be logical at the end of the day. There are
Yeah,
many
Yeah,
and
people who
this,
can't.
Absolutely.
Vegetarians is very difficult for them. I have many friends who are
Mhm.
vegetarians. They cannot get so much protein. So it is. You have to think about it logically.
I
yeah, and I
totally
think
agree. I totally agree with what Varun said. Being a vegetarian myself, it is extremely exhausting to just think about how to achieve my protein goal. Protein is extremely important in your diet, and how you are sourcing it really matters. If it's protein powder, it has to be high quality. If you're taking it from your food, make sure that you're eating, I mean, in general also, opt for high quality food. But I mean, having protein powder makes it super handy for me to meet my goals. So definitely that's what I would say. Darshit.
I will just add 2 cents there quickly. I see the question behind this question. Okay, I hear this question from many people across the globe. Okay, I
Yeah.
take put a supplement or not, right? But the answer is like this, right? I would say like this. Getting what your body needs is very, very important. Then how do you get it? Okay, you try your best to get from natural sources, dietary sources. It's well and good. But if you can't get, don't deprive the body without giving the nutrients that the body needs actually. That's how I would answer. Yeah. Give it supplement maybe 2 3 days in a week as it needs actually, based on what your diet is on that day. Yeah. Think about it and then go accordingly. Yeah, I would say.
and I think on my side, I just want to add a couple of things here because, of course, I do agree with everyone on the panel saying that vegetarians, it's very difficult to come by protein in food, right? So there's no other option but you go for a supplement, right? But even for non-vegetarians, I think one thing is of caution. Just like as a protein powder buyer, I would always check calorie to protein ratio. I would check what kind of adhesives and other things are put into the protein powder. Even for food, I think you need to be extremely careful. If your eggs or poultry is actually coming from farms that are heavily using antibiotics to keep the animals infection free, that antibiotics is accumulating in your body, that causes antimicrobial resistance going ahead in the future. And if you're given antibiotics in the future, you might not react to it. So I think even with food, sourcing is extremely important. While label padega India is equally important, uh, whosoever are still getting their sources from the food itself, the food has to be equally scrutinized as well about where is it coming from.
Yeah,
And
quality
secondly,
matters.
yeah, and secondly, the new trend that we are seeing, that putting protein into everything like chips and snacks and other things, I don't think so that's the right way to supplement your protein intake.
Yeah. Okay. I can see a lot of people have asked a lot of questions. So we already are 5 minutes above the time limit that we had for the webinar. So I have shared the community link. You can join the community if you're not already part of it. Darshit, Parth, Rakesh, our co-founders are part of the community. You can ask all these questions or any other question over there. Additionally, we'll be sharing all, email regarding the webinar and stuff like that. So keep a check on that for the emails that you have used to register for the event. Coming back to the final question, everybody here, if somebody has to take one piece of advice from you guys when it comes to healthy aging, what would that be to start their process to outsmart aging?
Keep it simple. Do not go for these fad trends. Eat right. Make sure that you are getting right. You're eating balanced food. You have enough carbs. You have enough fat. You have enough protein to it. You have enough fiber to it. Very simple, balanced diet. And make sure that you are walking if you can't run, and doing strength training. Keep it extremely simple. Complicated routine in the beginning will create confusion. You might not you might not be able to be consistent. Consistency over everything else.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
I
that's
will
a
just
good way to sum it up. Uh, See, longevity is, people think about longevity and think about fancy things, fancy protocols, but to keep it simple, exercise, strength training with some form of cardiovascular training, nutrition, prioritize protein, supplement only in those areas where you're needed. For women, it's calcium, vitamin D. For men, you can take a omega, take a magnesium, but supplement according to your blood work. Don't supplement just for the sake of it, and then sleep. In a nutshell, that is your longevity. That will give you 90% of all benefits of longevity. All these fancy protocols and all is only limited for a certain certain population. So you have to understand that.
I will just add that don't boil the ocean when it comes to health. Like you heard from all of us here today, there are thousands of things to do. Don't do everything at once. Start with a small goal for 3 months. Work on it, learn from it, then go for another 3 months for another small goal. So, I give an example, right? Most of my clients today, they took almost 9 months to 1 year to achieve the goal they wanted to achieve, and they are transformed individuals today, right? That's how the health transformation works actually. It doesn't work like a weekly basis or monthly basis. It takes years to change health, the personal identity also. Yeah.
I think I would start by saying that keep it extremely, be extremely conscious and listen to your body continuously. I think that's the first sign. Build a relationship with how your health is going by understanding it better, and then understand which spectrum are you on. To me, health, in my own personal experience, has been a spectrum of 3 to 4 different phases. Uh, on day one, I did not take an infrared sauna or an element supplement. On day one, I fixed my gut so that anything that I put into my body can get absorbed even. I got my training and all correct. When I settled into that, I added a layer into it by adding, the vital supplements and everything. The third layer I went on, tried a few advanced supplements, saw and reacted to it and saw what was happening right with it. And on the fourth stage comes all these fancy things that you might want to experiment it because it looks cool, like cold plunges and infrared sauna. So take it in pieces, because what an infrared sauna will do to you, You need to first understand the language of how your body is responding to it, and you will only learn it if you take it through phases and not straight and jump into anything right away.
Thank you so much, Darshit. Thank you, everybody who was there on the panel today. Thank you, everybody who joined today's webinar. We have not discussed about any supplements. However, we have a recommendation from everybody on the panel. Keep a check on your emails. We will send you an email if you want to get some recommendation for a beginner level. You'll be getting that email. Also, you'll be getting emails about the current webinar and any upcoming events or webinar if you want to take part on. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Have a great day.